Alright guys, another beautiful day. It is of course Friday back in town. I must say, we feel so great again to be back on Govima Sport Review. Of course, my name is Oluka Olubu. Your friends call me MCK, the Duper Superman. Yes, last week we departed and yes, God be praised, we are back. And let me tell you, it wasn't a good outing, of course, for the Super Falcons of Nigeria at the Paris Olympics. Why? Because they actually crashed out in the group stages, losing 3 matches without actually having a point, although they actually scored against Japan in the last time out, but it wasn't a good outing, I must tell you. They actually lost to Spain 1-0 in the second group game, and then again just yesterday they lost again to Japan. Of course 3-1 it ended in favor of the Japanese ladies. I must say a lot of things about Randy Wardrop's ladies and all that. Actually they showed a lot of glimpses of hopes and all that, but alas, it wasn't meant to be. They failed to qualify, and this Paris Olympics has not really been one to actually be impressive for Nigeria team. Team Nigeria as a team captain, of course, for the team Nigeria. Talking about Opeyori for badminton as well, crashed out in the badminton category, losing 2 of his group games, and of course ultimately crashing out of Paris Olympics. We also have not too good coming from the wrestling department, of course, as one of our ladies was actually disqualified after the organizers find what they call ferromazide in part of the testing, and she tested positive, and part of the anti-doping initiative is that she was actually suspended from the Paris Olympics, and ultimately she was as well sent home from the Games Village from Paris. And I must say it hasn't been a very good one for Team Nigeria. As it stands, we are yet to actually win a medal, and we are still hoping and looking that each of them will eventually earn a medal. We are going to be focusing more on Team Nigeria in the Paris Olympics. Let me quickly tell you about basketball. Of course, we have the Tigers to a quite reasonable extent. They are doing fine, winning against Australia, world number 3, a massive feat for them. And just yesterday as well, they actually played against France, and that one they actually lost, but of course they qualified to the quarterfinals, and yes, they have a chance to actually progress. We are waiting to see who they will be paired with in the quarterfinals to see how the Tigers are going to actually look and emerge in that particular one. Let me tell you, we have various categories of races still to be played. Of course, talking about athletics, track and field event, we are expecting Favour Philly. And there was this controversy as well about Favour Philly during the course of the week, emerging that Nigeria Athletics Federation of Nigeria (AFN) couldn't actually register her for the 100-meter race, and there was a lot of things coming up. She came out on Twitter, venging her vengeance about how the whole process, how she missed out on Tokyo 2020, and of course 3 years later again there was this whole issue of not registering her. We are actually asking the question: how is that even possible that AFN mixed out on registering one of the best shots we have in actually winning a medal? But of course, as it stands, she has a chance to actually, still compete at the 200 meters and 400 meters races respectively. We are hoping to see. Yes, AFN came out to say that they didn't know how it all happens, that they registered her and all that. But at the same time, I think this is all due to complacency, and we need to actually guard against many of these errors, going forward. Of course, Sport Minister Senator John Heno came out to say this and that. He spoke with the agency, people in charge, and how could they have allowed something like that to happen. A lot of things to talk about in terms of Favour of feeling missing out 100 meters. She was the African champion in that category, and of course she could have actually, she had a chance, but of course she was unable to showcase that one in the 100-meter category. We'll move away from Team Nigeria. Like I said, it hasn't been a good one in this current Paris Olympics. We are just hoping, keeping our fingers crossed, hoping that things and the fortunes can actually turn around for good. I'm going to leave that, and yes, we'll talk about some interesting transfers in the club football. Like I said last time out, of course, the new season is approaching. August is here. Oh yes, August is here, and of course we're expecting the big guys very soon. EPL, La Liga, Serie A, and of course German Bundesliga to kick off in about 2 to 3 weeks time. But of course before then we have a lot of transfers behind the scene. Arsenal, of course, Mikel Arteta's Arsenal actually confirmed the signing of Bologna defender, talking about Ricardo Calafiori Calafiori. Yes, Calafiori joined Arsenal from Bologna for reported 35 million pounds thereabout, and with add-ons to be paid and all that. But of course, a good buy for Arteta, who looks to actually reshuffle and compete, and actually maybe this time around actually emerge as the winner of the EPL. It hasn't been too good for Mikel Arteta, coming close twice in back-to-back season, but of course Pep Guardiola remains a nemesis for Mikel Arteta. When and how, we do not know. And there are reports that of course they are very close to signing Mikel Merino of Real Sociedad. Remember, the guy actually won Euro with the Spanish national team just last month, yes, thereabout. And yes, of course, there are reports that 25 million deal has been agreed with Real Sociedad for the signature of the Spaniard midfielder. Of course, we also know now that Emil Smith-Rowe will be joining Fulham for a reported 37 million thereabout. And yes, he has actually done his medicals, and we're waiting for official confirmation from that hand. Yes, Emil Smith-Rowe is going to be playing for Fulham coming next season. There are also reports coming from the camp of Arsenal, of course, that Eddie Nketiah might just be heading to Marseille under Roberto De Zerbi. Remember, Roberto De Zerbi, the former Brighton manager, he's actually trying to move out there, signed a couple of amazing ones already, missing goal from Manchester United, a couple of them as well, and now targeting, of course, Eddie Nketiah, just to see how Marseille can return to the glory days in French League One. We'll move away from that and move down to Chelsea. Chelsea, of course, like I told you, they are trying to fit in to the financial fair play. And as it stands, they are signing a couple of players, and also trying to save sold as many as possible. But of course, like I told you last week, they've signed about 5 of them. McGill, even India, tour. It was the last one time about they actually defeated its American club. That is 3-0 in the tour they had. They're talking about the preseason. Looking to see that about that. And for Enzo Fernandez and the racism issue, yes, there were clarity that he returned back to training, of course, in their American camp, and of course offered apology to the likes of the players who felt offended, the likes of Wesley Fofana, Dasisi, and even club captain, of course, all of them trying to actually resettle the whole racism stuff. He actually apologized that he didn't mean it, and then the club accepted, and then looking to forge ahead from that word. Yes, we'll move away from Chelsea-related matter now, talking about Manchester United, and not too good for Manchester United, believe me. Erik ten Hag, despite moving fast in the summer transfer window to sign Lenny Yoro, of course, Azeski from Bologna as well, and a couple of others so far, it looks as if they are actually going to be jinxed already. 4 important players are injured. Believe me, Lenny Yoro injured, Marcus Rashford injured, Rasmus Højlund injured, and it's not looking too good. Of course, they are one of their expensive players. Of course, talking about Anthony, he yet to actually really keep the team running as he should. Also injured. And then a couple of weeks' time is going to be the start of the EPL. What do we say about Manchester United and their heel luck with injuries? Last season they were badly affected, but this time again it looks like luck is not on their side. We'll move away from transfer-related saga, talking about the EPL, and we'll talk about, of course, this one coming from the Paris Olympics as well. We have former world champion, talking about Rafael Nadal, crashing out after meeting Novak Djokovic, of course, in their 68th meetings. It ended in that particular one as Novak actually nicked that one to progress to the quarterfinals. Yes, in the round 2, Nadal was actually, very impressive, but at the same time, it was Novak who actually took the day, and yes, he won that particular one at the end of that encounter. Meanwhile, our current Wimbledon champion, talking about Carlos Alvarez, he actually won his game yesterday as well, and now he's progressing, and this time around as well, he might as well just win the gold medal, of course, in Olympics once again. Okay, guys, let's just cap it off with this particular one coming yesterday in the boxing. A lot of controversies in this Paris Olympics. Like I said, when you look at the opening ceremony, a lot of issues emerged or emanated from that particular one, and a lot of controversies where they portray the Last Supper of Christ. A lot of condemnation came out, and it wasn't really a good one from Paris and the organizers of the Paris Olympics. They need to do better. Everyone needs to be respected. As much as we are trying to actually have a fun of the games and all that, there are limits we should go to. And portraying the Last Supper of Christ in that manner is very, very condemnable. Okay, we'll move away from that one. Yes, I was talking about the Paris Olympics boxing yesterday. There was this issue that rose up. Of course, we have this fight between one Italian fighter, female category, and of course another counterpart coming from Algeria, Nazim thereabouts. There were issues that this guy, this lady from Algeria, it was a guy, it was a lady, and all that. A lot of things, it wasn't really clear. But what the whole notion is that he has excessive XY chromosome, of course, in his body, and he's more like a man. I don't know. But there was this disparity that occurred. The opponent, talking about the female fighter from Italy, actually left the fight 46 seconds into the game. And this has actually raised a lot of eyebrows. That is this fair, allowing men to fight with ladies? This is something that the woke generation need to really fix, as this might actually cause more harm than good. There is nothing. Let's have a plain and a fair fight. If you are a man, fight with the man. And if you are a lady, then you fight with the lady. Guys, like I said, a lot of things to talk about, but always time is not our friend. We are going to be back, of course, next week Friday to give you all the recap as it is ongoing, of course, in the Paris Olympics. We keep our fingers crossed, hoping that Team Nigeria are going to do better and maybe, just maybe, change the photos and turn it around. Thank you for sticking around for a couple of times so far. Of course, next week I'll be back, and then we're going to bring more of the headlines that makes the news over here to you. Like I said, stick to this page, comment, share, and of course, you might just be lucky to win yourself a lot of goodies. The other time that I said you want to do anything that has to do with your visa, travel packages, of course, visit us at Govima. Look at the link below, bookings@govima.com, to actually make your inquiries, and then we might be ready to just jump back from the country. Yes, for the protest ongoing, we'll pray for resolution and let the government meet the demands of the people. Bad governance needs to end. Okay, look out, Olumuyiwa is my name. Of course, you call me MCK, the DDuperSuperMan. Until I come your way again next week Friday, leaving you in the hands of God, and I know surely what is going to keep you an eye even beyond it. Au revoir, auf Wiedersehen, and yes, I'm out again.